Hey.
Come on. Come on. Hey, 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 hey.
Naye singa mu considering our guest today Benon. Singa mu koti basoka kuba music nga gundi tena tena.
Yeah. Yo, bro, I got something to say. Objection. Overruled.
Ochitegera.
Ian, oyina muko.
Ne koti basirika nnyo.
Ian. Show us what you got. Drop a bar or two.
A bar or two. Ati kati bewa be bar kitegeeza kitu kirala.
Kati be bar or just dropping a bar.
Just drop a bar.
Bars.
Agakunzija mu bigambo nkulabye.
Tisa mko ku bantu.
Okay. So I'm sitting right here with Benon and Keys. Talk about copyright. We are at Swan. This is me talking to your lawyer. 1, 2, 3. So don't holler back. What?
Benon, the show is over.
Guess what? You're the first person who has accepted the challenge, because usually
it's not even a joke.
Everyone just shies away.
Even artists shy away from doing a freestyle.
Imagine the first person to take on this challenge. He's a lawyer.
Is he in the right?
Yeah, he is.
I will tell you something that you don't know about me. When I was in school, S1, S2, S3 actually, I used to do a lot of hip hop. That was my thing. Actually, Tonics. We used to have a band with Tonics. Me, Tonics, and a friend of mine. We even have some music we've recorded. But that's back in that day.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Master Bus. My name is Benon Mugumbya, chilling with
Steve Kiss.
Steven Ichigozi.
And
today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest in the building, Mr. Mutibwa Ian.
So for clarity's sake, Benon has gotten that name wrong 1,000 times. Let's clap for him for getting it right this time.
And I've known him for a while, but in my head, I thought it was always Mutibwa.
Anti wenda musuti buli kaseera. So today I had to dress down because of
actually,
you.
I feel a little disappointed because I was expecting the suit, you know.
Actually, I don't think I've seen Ian when he's not in a suit.
Yeah.
I personally have not seen him without a suit.
Well,
so what is with okay, I don't want to break the ice so quick, but Ian is a lawyer, so I can say that. What is with lawyers and suits? Like, why must you? Why can't you go to court like that?
I think it's about respect. If you see someone in a suit, even at the gate man, they treat them different. So it is that respect or sometimes intimidation.
I see.
Hence, me thinking is Mutibwa.
I'll give you an example. You don't find most presidents wearing black suits. If you've noticed. Now that you picture, they don't wear black suits because black is intimidating. So you wear a blue, a certain shade of blue, and you know.
I didn't know that.
And they don't wear grey suits. Remember when Obama put on a very light colored suit and he was blonde? Because now that is more of a relaxed.
Weak.
Imagine pink suit, president pink suit.
Is there anything about the white shirts?
Yes, even white shirts is respect. You know, you have the white shirt. I only wear white shirts, FYI. Only wear white shirts. So it's about the respect that you give the person to. But yeah.
So, in other words, if you want to intimidate somebody, you put on a black suit.
That's why black is for funeral, boring, calm, you know,
dark.
So no black suits in court.
No, you can wear them.
You
can wear them.
If there's you want to intimidate.
Yeah, but the judge is always wearing a black gown, right?
We wear black gowns, even lawyers. Okay. Judges wear usually, they have red gowns, and depending which court you're in, Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, High Court.
And what is with the
wigs?
Yeah, wigs. You know I was going there.
Colonialism. So we we still wear them because.
But he can come without it. No one will call him out.
It's court attire. They call it being attired.
What?
At when mu court, the first thing the judge will tell you, or you will see, is a judge. Whenever mu open court, he's wearing a full judge's attire. He's fully robed with Uchita.
Yeah.
Now even the lawyer has to be fully robed. When they flapsy gown.
Yeah, those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're not robed, the judge will tell you, I cannot see you. So
Yeah.
if you speak, you ask who is speaking, cannot see you. Unless you ask
Like
the
it's
judge.
to recognize,
Yes.
recognize
I
who
can't
you
see.
are.
I can't see who is this one speaking. Unless you ask the judge to excuse you and see you as you're dressed, then he can see you. Before that, he will not. He will not even hear anything that you're saying.
The judges are posers. I've actually, I've never been to an active court in my whole life. I don't wish to be there.
No,
anyway.
you need to.
But from what I see in the movies, why do people? So the judge is so scared. People have to stand up. Like he's coming, so everyone stand up.
Yes.
And
Blah, blah, blah.
You see, they call him my lord.
yeah,
It's like a god, my lord.
yeah.
When you're asking for something in court, you pray. I pray that this is.
What?
Hey, it's that serious.
I've been
It's
to
that
court
serious.
actually, and he represented me.
Oh, let's go. Benon, I tell you what had you done. Whose daughter?
I don't know. Thank God it had nothing to do with that.
Okay, that's good.
Is it right to say that was a civil case?
It's a commercial case.
It,
Yes,
it
civil,
was a
commercial. Yes.
Yeah.
Commercial
Yeah.
dispute.
Business.
Business. We are business. Birimu sente.
Some of these things you can't avoid, but that's life. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you might be wondering, why in the world do we have a lawyer in the building? This is Ian from Signum
Yes.
Advocates.
Yeah.
So it's because our previous interview, our previous podcast, man, the guy almost fried our brains.
Bro.
And we've been in the music industry for a while, but still there's that very confusing part of the business that is very, very necessary. And so we thought it's only right to have a lawyer who has been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Plus, I know him personally. I know that he has love for music. He represents, and he has represented, so many musicians, people in the industry. So, he's going to elaborate a couple of things and also shed a light on so many of these things that we creatives or artists that don't really understand. So please, Ian, use language that you lawyers, you like to confuse us.
Landed. So as we didn't land, only you guys.
Yeah.
We're land friends.
But I'm going to ask you to, because you're mainly communicating to Badongo. For lack of a better
That
word.
sounds wrong.
Yeah, but nowadays, it's no longer an insult.
But did you know that it actually, for like being a musician was so bad that for someone to insult you had to say
Yeah.
Odumudongo.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You know that that
Yes,
was
yes.
that's so bad.
How do you even start in terms
Yeah.
of music?
Oyo Mudongo.
Speaking of which, we would like to know how you got into this whole thing. Did you always want to be a lawyer ever since you were born, or you just jumped onto it? And there's something else before you go into that. There was another question I wanted to ask you. If you love your job, and also
What kind of lawyer is he?
Yeah.
Are you a criminal lawyer? Are you...
that whole area.
I've always wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay.
From I think my second year, my S2, yeah.
Mm.
So I chose to do law. I remember after O levels, you finished O levels, results have come out, and I did well. I did quite well, and they gave me a science course. I was in King's College, Budo. So they gave me a science course.
PCBM.
PCM economics, to be precise. And I got my admission letter, And I walked back into the administration block and I said, I don't want to do sciences. I want to do arts. And they told me why. I said, because I want to be a lawyer, not an engineer, not a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. And the lady looked at me and said, are you sure? I said, yes. You know, people are benching for these things. I'm like, yes. So she crossed out PCM economics and put history, economics, literature, and divinity. And I got my paper.
LD.
Yes, got my paper and I walked home. When I reached home, I gave it to my father. Father looked at it, so PCM economics crossed out, and he was disappointed. He said, my son, what's happening? I told him I want to be a lawyer. I said, okay, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. And to me, if you ask what I'm doing, what I love, yes, 100%. I can do this all day, any day, every day, without being paid. I can do it any single day.
That's very important.
I'm in my zone.
That's good.
Benon will tell you, if he calls me, hey, Ian, I will just jump. Whether we agreed on money or not, I will just jump, and we can discuss the other details.
Is your dad still alive?
Yes, he's still alive.
How does he feel now?
Well, I say in your face, like in your face moment. I went to Shonubi Musoki and Company. I did KPMG. Then I'm in my own practice now, Signum Advocates, and it's been going well. It's been going well.
Yeah. I recently saw. I don't understand those lawyer things, but you're already a partner at Signum, right?
Yes.
But I saw that there was like a promotion of sorts.
Managing partner. Managing partner means you are now the manager of the partners. So you can call it CEO, managing partner.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. So you're running the practice, so more or less, yes.
But you look young.
The farm is relatively young. I see the muto.
You just look.
I just look. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we want to dive into the legalities of our industry, our creative industry. First of all, just shed some light on what is the relevance of having lawyers or involving lawyers in our business, and is it a must to have people like you in our business? Because for a while
Batutawanya butawanya.
Badya sente.
Zoba zirianya.
Is it necessary?
Yeah. First of all, what I do personally, I do tax, banking and finance, or finance, and entertainment. Entertainment, I joined, and I'm learning my way around the trade. But I love entertainment. I love anything to do with entertainment. I'm lucky that I worked in the UK, and they've given me most of my trainings for entertainment from there. From
You
the
worked, not
yes.
studied.
Yes, I worked in the UK. They've given most of my training on the entertainment industry, so I've learned a lot on that. So that's what I do. Whether you need lawyers are like, should we say, necessary evil. You will need them. And what I always advise clients is, you need us from the start, not when things have gone bad. We're like doctors. Come to me and tell me, hey, can I do a general body checkup? How is my heart doing? How is my lungs? Everything is okay. Don't go to him when things are bad.
I can't breathe.
Because then he will charge you an arm and a leg to give you a transplant for the heart. But before you say, you have first take these herbs, take this medicine, take here, and controls. So same exact thing. Lawyers are needed because the reason why they call us land friends is that every sector you talk about, we need a lawyer. Whether it's medicine, music, finance, tax, whatever it is, family, whatever it is, you need a lawyer. And lawyers are supposed to be there to guide, because they know what the law says, what is illegal, what is not illegal, what it says, and then you can go ahead and do it. Now, the music industry, most people think, I can go around it myself. I can do this myself. But you find that there's so many things that if you knew as a music or in the entertainment industry, you'll probably do better. Yeah. And you'll probably earn better because you know these things. But if you don't know them and you feel like I can go about it myself, then you still make money, but not as much as you'd have made if you knew what was happening. Yeah. So then
So you said your finance, banking, and entertainment?
And tax.
And tax?
Yes.
So you don't do criminal.
No. I will not touch
So
criminal
if I
cases.
committed a crime, I shouldn't come to you.
You can call me. I can give you a little bit of advice, but I will not take you to court to get you off.
Yeah,
And
but
also, I
if-
know there are some lawyers who don't go to court.
Yes.
They like for them, that's not there.
Yes,
But then
so
I know others who are in
There's
court
what they call a
every day.
transactional lawyer and,
Okay.
and a litigation lawyer. So when you come to the firm, for example, I'm a transactional lawyer. I'll occasionally go to court because we know we are trained to do everything, but I'm primarily a transactional lawyer. Then we have a litigation lawyer who for him, any day, every day, he will take you and argue up to the cows when the cows come home. Those are litigation lawyers. And for him, when you meet him, there's a fighter. He'll say this color is blue. You say, no, it's red, it's blue. He argues why it's blue up until he can convince you. Now, for me, I'm on the end of the transactions. I will look at the transaction and say, how can I manage this transaction from one end to the other? Of course, I'll have the end of a litigation person because in the event something goes wrong, you're going to argue. So I need to make those clauses so that when you're arguing, you argue on your side. So they're both necessary. But in Uganda, most times people do everything. But we've tried to break it down. Yes, in the farm.
Okay.
Cool. I want us to jump right into stuff like copyright, publishing. There are things like that I know that are related in that field, like patents, trademarks. I remember, and I like the example Ivan gave us, saying that copyright is like a land title to your IP. Help us shed some light on that copyright and why do you think first of all it's in place in Uganda, or if it's not, what are some of those things that are hindering it?
Yeah, okay. Copyright, I will just broadly talk about it as intellectual property. Intellectual property, as you hear it, intellectual, it's in the mind. So you start with your mind, you create. Once you create something, then you have property, land title, you have a land title over that intellectual asset. So copyright is an intellectual asset, or intellectual property is an intellectual asset. It's broken down into various intellectual assets. You find copyright, which is now on music, artistical works, computer programs, and things like that. You have trademarks, which is on words, like you see Swang's Avenue. You created a word out of Muswangali. You created Swangs. So Swangs becomes a trademark or trade name. Okay? So Swangs is a mark. It can be an image, it could be a word, it could be anything. It could be a color. Those are trademarks. Then you have what we call patents. Patents are usually new ideas, innovations, something that's new in the market. Many drugs. You find a medicine, someone has mixed a few chemicals, create a medicine, can create a patent out of that. You can create a patent out of a phone. Things that are new, basically. A car that uses water, for example, to run, that could be a patent. You can have a patent over that. Then we have what we call something that's new and sprouting up very fast in Uganda is what we call image rights. Someone's image, it is mine. You don't just use it anyhow.
Yeah.
It is my image, so don't just go around spreading it out. Posting it.
Sorry to cut you short.
Yes.
There's something I find very confusing. I think like 2 months ago, this rapper Nas, he used a picture. It was him and Tupac. I think they were celebrating Tupac's birthday, and he posted. But then he got sued by the photographer who took that picture.
Yes.
I find that very confusing.
How does it come about? Now, you see, I want to break it down for you now. After that image rights there, then there is what they call industrial designs. Mineral water bottles. If you look at the Coca-Cola bottle, the Pepsi bottle, Renzori, they're all different. And it's because they have intellectual property behind them. And the essence of intellectual property is to protect ideas that have been created. So the first thing of intellectual property, an idea. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I have this idea. By the way, I talk about it. There is nothing protected there. It is still here. But once I get a piece of paper or I get a mold or I start doing it, then it becomes intellectual property. I'll give you an example. You see the independent monument. Speak hotel around the man.
Sheraton.
Yes. That is an intellectual property. Someone woke up in the morning and said, I want to get someone wrapped with thing. Then that he
Carrying
thought,
a kid,
yes.
yeah.
Now, once you take a picture of that, you've taken a picture of someone's intellectual property.
Okay.
Right? If you use it for gain, they can actually sue you for it. Because it is someone's intellectual property. Now, on the photos, whenever someone takes a photo, they create an intellectual property in the way they've taken it. Because it's an art. Not everyone can take pictures, by the way.
Yeah.
You could give someone your phone and they start gambling. Just a phone. Now imagine... now imagine a camera that is zoomed out with the 20 megapixels or whatever 8 megapixels it has. It's very difficult to take that picture. But people take pictures and people have awards. You take a bird in flight, you take an animal about to jump. It's an intellectual property. If you've not been commissioned to do that, it becomes your property. For example, if you go into to say a gathering where Naz and someone else is, and someone takes a picture of it, that's their intellectual property. Now, if you've invited them...
Even if, like, they've taken a picture of me, so that means they can use that picture?
No, now you see that's where the two properties come in. Yes, he has an intellectual property over the picture he has taken, but it's your image. So he needs... permission from you to use your image that he has taken. So, and they play, there's so many scenarios they can play around. If you enter, say, a music concert, for example, they have said, look, we shall take your pictures, and I take your picture. You've more or less given consent.
By you entering into this premises,
you've allowed me to take your picture and use it as I want. So there's a need for consent when you're using people's images. And this is going to go far and wide. And when people get to realize it, it's going to blow out very, 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 very much. Because take a picture in restaurants, we take pictures everywhere. The people just snap, and go and post.
You can even hear some artists say that, hey, Banti Mbye Masaka, as in they used my...
Yes.
You know?
You don't just use people's images. Now, generally, that's intellectual property. It keeps expanding. It keeps growing. At one point, it was just trademarks. Now we have image rights. We have industrial designs. It just keeps, every time someone introduces something.
I feel like it's a good thing because people can make money off of their images, off of their intellectual property.
Yes, it's an art. You get paid for your creation of intellectual property. I'll give you an example. There's a time I was listening to Dave Chappelle. I think it's one of his most recent stand-ups. And he was talking about a painting which was built with pennies. Okay? Pennies, US pennies, coin. And there are so many coins put together into a piece of art. So he asked, how much is this piece of art? And said it's $600,000. But he counted the pennies on that art, and they were not more than $300. So he said, these pennies that are not more than $300 have created something that's worth $600,000. And his takeaway is, whatever art you do, whether it's music, it's photography, it's molding, whatever it is, that art is worth billions and billions of shillings, billions and billions of dollars. If you cannot commoditize that to make money, then there's a problem. Now, the whole point of this is to help people understand how can we use our art to create a living. Da Vinci did it, created sculptures. You see these paintings, Mona Lisa. It's a simple painting. But that painting can tell you, $30 million, and you ask yourself, this painting here. It's $30 million, this nothing here. But it's a style, it's a stroke, it's an art, it's a oil that he used, the canvas, whatever he used. It's what creates the art. Now, as artists, as people in the entertainment industry, that is a gift that you have. We are creators. Benon here is a very good, very excellent creator. He created Bosco. I mean, that's a very ingenious.
That figure, Bosco is his.
Exactly.
Oh
and
my
that
God.
is an intellectual property that Benon has. And once he understands,
just to be clear, that was created from an agency.
Yes.
Don't want problems.
Anyway, so he's the creation of the mind. It's the way you put things together. You know, I could see, say you have that logo, and I could look at it and I'm like, I can probably do better. I can put here this thing, there, this thing there, and I create something. Now, copyright or intellectual property, let's stick on copyright because we're in the music industry. Copyright allows you to do what they call a derivative work.
I beg you. What's that in
To derive.
Okay.
Derive means to get from what is already, yes. To get from what is there, and then you create. So you can use the same exact thing that's there, then you create something. Case in point, Burna Boy uses Tony Braxton's song and creates Last Last. It can be a derivative work from it's derived.
You need to get permission.
Yes, you need to get permission to derive your work from the original author. Now to break it down a little bit more, I think now you asked me to be grandmother, but your grandmother principle.
Okay.
Speak like as if you're talking to your grandmother. Atasoma ali mukyalo amanyi Luganda lukka. Tomuleta derivative byammwe. Oyogera simple English. So when you think about, let's say, a song, generally a song has so many parts. When you break it down to so many parts, you get to realize there's so many parts in the song. I'll give you an example. There are people who do beats. Creates a beat, Kanye West does it, DJ Khaled does it. Create a beat and says, this is my beat. Then you bring Benon, and Benon is like, that beat is good, and puts lyrics onto the beat. And the reverse can be true. I can have lyrics for a song and say, beat. And then like, this sounds good. Then I come to Benon, I'm like, I have these words here. Can you help me put them together? It's a simple poem. The Benon's like, okay, can you try it on this beat, It works here best, right? And then he gets that beat and those lyrics and says, this is best on a hip-hop song or on a reggae song or an R&B song or someone's, a hoarse voice or whatever it is. Now you have to look for the hoarse voice. You have to look for that character to sing that. It may be Benon, it could be Ian, it could be Keys, it could be anyone, okay? Now when you get that voice, you put it on those lyrics, on that beat. Those are three aspects now. We've gotten the song, the words, we've gotten the beat, we've gotten the person singing, the performer. And that performance has a unique voice. It can be a rap, it could be whatever it is. There's a uniqueness in it. So when you hear it, you'll be like, that's Benon. That's a Zawi. Because you hear a song, that's the tune. Then after you've gotten those ones, you get people now to say, all that has been put together. Is it the right mix of sound? Is the bass too high? Is what do we need to the sound engineer comes in and says, now let's put things together in a scene. Here the voice seems muffled. We need to increase here, we need to do this, or we need to redo the whole thing again. And creates a master, something that can be sold. Okay? Because the sound is right, the pitch is right, everything is right. It reverberates, those when you're in a car and you hear some sound this side and some sound. It's not because the guy is singing like, he has mixed it, okay?
That's funny.
He has remixed
That's so funny. Okay. When you get to that part, when you sing that part,
Run
to the other corner.
to record, left your car, then you come to... No, it's because someone has actually put those things together. Now, if I can stop right there. Each and every one of those people has an intellectual property in that song.
So even the engineer?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the sound engineer, without his knowledge of mixing that, you would have had something that's just noise.
Yeah.
Okay. But he has made it.
That explains the Grammys. Like when a song wins a Grammy, like most of the time it goes down to all the mixing engineer, everyone.
Yes. And we're going to talk about why they do that.
Yeah.
So you get all those people and you know that everyone has something they've added. It's something in their intellect that they've put on that song. And they should be paid.
Yeah.
They should be paid for what they've done. Okay? The person who writes a song should be paid. The person who sings should be paid. The person who does the beat should be paid. The person who does the engineering should be paid. All the people should be paid.
Maybe the question is, should they be paid forever or they should be paid instantly?
We're going to get there. Yeah. So after that, let's now go into the song. Let's say now it's been mastered. It's now a hit. Say, guys, we need to do a video. We need to work a video. You have to get a guy to write the video concept. So someone says, These are the video of play. Is it going to be a cartoon? Is it going to be what is it going to be? Is it going to be in a hotel? Is it going to be in a swimming pool? What does it look like? Unfortunately, most of Ugandans, sometimes when someone's saying about swimming pool, they will put a swimming pool there. They'll be like, no, this has to be a swimming pool. It may not be a swimming pool. You may hardly be in space. You may say, let's shoot a swimming pool in the moon. You know? So that's a person who comes up with that concept.
Yeah.
Then there's a person who's going to be on the cameras. He knows what angle to shoot, the lighting, the proper way of shooting that video. Not everyone can do it.
DOP.
DOP.
Yes.
Okay.
Not everyone can do it.
Director of
right?
photography.
Yes. And then you have the choreographers. You get people to come and dance. They have a certain dance routine that they've mastered. Choreography is also an art.
Yeah.
Not everyone can do it. And choreography is not just me coming to do a simple stroke here and there. I can actually come and create a rhythm of dance. That
can
unique
even
pattern.
go viral.
Yes, a unique pattern of dance.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know once I see this pattern of dance, I like referring to the Jabberwockies. The guys used to. They have a unique pattern of. You see the. It's a unique pattern. It's a unique pattern, and they go around and dance with that. Now, after all that is done, you have people who do makeup. Makeup is an art, and there are people who are specialized in either scary makeup or makeup that transforms the body or whatever it is. It's different. All those people come together. Now, everyone I've mentioned there. Remember, we started from someone writing a song.
Yeah.
Now we're in a video. Each and every one of those people has a copyright in whatever they are doing. Or has an intellectual property in whatever they are doing.
My friends.
Now, once that has been broken down to that, the question that there is have they been paid adequately? Are they going to be paid for life? Are they going to be paid a one-off?
Yeah.
That depends on your bargaining power. I could come and say, Steve Keys, you're good at playing the piano and composing songs. Compose for me a song. Azawi needs a new song. You come and do create your song, right? Once you create your song, Benon will be like, remember a maker. You say, give me 25 million. Say, can we negotiate? Can I pay you 15? Like, give me 20. Okay, middle ground, 18. Now, the lawyer for Benon comes and says, no, Benon, Steve Keys should sign up his intellectual property in this song. Transfer. Now, the need for lawyers. Most people will say, Steve Musasude, kwata. But here I would say he needs to specifically transfer the intellectual property, any and all intellectual property, to you. What that means is that him as the author of this thing, he has a right to maximize anything that comes out of it. But because
if he has not given up the right.
Yes, if he has not given up the right. But because you've lawyered up and he hasn't, say transfer the rights to me. And he says 18 million, which is good money, by the way. 18 million, if I write 10 songs, 18 million, how much am I making? 180 million. That is good money for an average Ugandan. Say, okay, let me write for you 10 songs, give me 180 million, chintunchite. So I give the money, you get your 180, you write your 10 songs and give it to them. Now, later on, you get to learn that these 10 songs are now Grammy nominated. Or they have won a BET.
They've become a problem.
They have become a problem. Then you come back and say, Benon, I think you need to give me. Benon will just bring out his agreement and say, by the way, you transferred your intellectual property to me. I've paid you for your thought. You have nothing more you're claiming from me. That is one arm of looking at it. The other arm is to negotiate what he calls split sheets. So you say, you're going to pay me a write-off fee of 5 million, and you're going to give me 10% of money that song makes in perpetuity.
Perpetuity is in
continuation. Perpetuity means paka.
Abazungu bayatuko
paka. So paka. So depending on your bargaining power, someone is not that famous. You don't know if this song is going to hit. You say, you know what? I don't know you, don't know me. Let me pay you my 10 million and everyone goes away. You make money and I may make money or may not. So the person will say, okay, give me my 10 million and walk away. But if you know that the power of the song you're going to write and you know that it's going to actually become a hit, you can negotiate better and say, instead of giving me this 25 million to go and buy my Caprimio, give me 5. Because I know you're going to make more than 150 million of this. Okay? And if you make 200, 300, 400 million, I still have my 10%. Right? But 10% usually is on the net profit. Most people say, because it's sente. But when you actually come to the real books, you realize that the expenses of video, of whatever, reduce that money. I could have been paid $100,000, but my actual profit is 20,000.
Yeah.
Don't take 10% of 100,000 because then I'll be in losses. You take 10% of that 20,000. And it's important that you keep those records so strictly that you know this is how much I'm spending, and I'm spending it on this, air tickets, performance, whatever, clothes, and my net profit of this particular performance or this particular airing is this amount of money. Now, the more developed countries have learned how to track and trace intellectual property. And I'm going to get into those things. You may need to interrupt me a bit because I can speak and speak and speak.
Mugana wange. That's why we got you here.
Yes. Now, the way these things are done is that the songwriter, some people can cease to be musicians and be songwriters. Now, songwriters will get what we call publishers. Publishers will get your song catalog, the writing you've done, and they run around to sell them off. Who wants? You heard of ghostwriters for rappers. So say, Drake, I have this thing that whatever. I'm not saying Drake uses ghostwriters because rappers don't like saying you have a ghostwriter, like being original.
Yeah.
So someone has a ghostwriter and they come and give him a catalog of 10 songs and says, here's my songs. Let's agree. If they hit, this is what I do, and all the other things. And if the person buys those songs or signs onto that publishing house and gets songs all through, the publishing house makes money. The person who has written also makes money. So the essence of having a publisher is to make sure that your songs, he can do a better bargain. If I come alone as Ian to Benon, I say I've written a song, he'll be like, okay, what a million come again. If I come with Steve Key's publishing house, to be different. Because he now knows the wiggle rooms around how to argue these particular things. And when he argues well, you get a better bargain. So he'll get his songs, different songs, and put them together. After they get those songs, then they sell them to the record label, which now runs artists, that manages them, that does the masters. But sometimes you'll find, as they explained last time, that you'll find that the publisher and the record label are the same.
Yeah.
So you get the songs and they said, okay, we shall be published for you, but at the same time we shall also manage you or whatever. And then we can move around with that. And I'm going to talk about the future of what that music industry is going to look like.
But before you expound some more, so does it make sense for the writer to also be part of the split sheet, or they can be comfortable just collecting from the publisher?
The publisher now is going to argue those split sheets because now you have a publisher. They will agree. You say, I'm a publisher. Whatever royalties you get from your song, you're going to give me management expense of this. Say 2% or 3%, whatever it is.
For negotiating for you.
Now, he'll go and negotiate with you in your split sheet. And the publisher will be the one there.
Not you.
Not you. Because he's representing you.
But I thought negotiating the split sheet, that is done even before we, say for example, we are in studio, we're going to do a project. I don't think it's easy to get the publisher involved, at that point.
I think you have to.
Yeah. Now you see what happens is at that point you'll find that the publisher, you've already negotiated something, but when you're doing your split sheet, you've not just paid for one-off. You have another 10% to pay. So as you negotiate your split sheet, you know that whatever is coming out is a 10% going to a publisher. So if it's not part of that discussion, the person is going to take a bigger percentage, thinking, Benon's taking 90, yet you're actually taking 80. The 10% goes to the publisher. So the split sheet is important that, look, this song, and it's important, even more important, to have confidentiality agreements. Because you have many people involved who are going to look at this document and know what's happening. So you have to be confidential. As confidential as possible.
So that to my
Then you just go and say, by the way, this guy, everything is intact, and everyone knows what everyone is getting. Okay, and you be as open as honest as you can. But remember, the person who is negotiating, the person who has the biggest bargaining power, is someone who has the money. Okay, you come and say, I'll take 25%. You guys have to share the balance of the percentage. You're like 7 other guys. Find a way of sharing that percentage. And if that is difficult for you, you want Swangs Avenue to produce your song. You want Swangs Avenue to be the one taking your lyrics for the song. You want Swangs Avenue to be the one mastering. So Swangs Avenue will come and tell you, this is our rate. If you're going to use us, this is going to be our rate. And you have to agree to that and put pen to paper.
So let me ask you a question. So that all sounds like very good information. Speaking from a Ugandan perspective, you don't have to say who, but do you have any people in Uganda who have come to you for such services? In detail, the way you've said them.
I will not give you the detail of it, but I'm Swang's lawyer. And recently, I remember I was in someone's office. And again, the Badongo came up and said, Ian, but are those people serious? I said, guys, trust me, if there's anyone more serious in this music business or in this entertainment industry, Swang's Avenue. They're so organized. So I represent Swang's, and one of the reasons why I'm telling you the things I'm telling you is that we're actually doing them.
Yeah.
And it is that transparent. Benon knows property on what day they're actually doing.
I want to pretend like as if this whole conversation is
never
neutral.
Yeah, they're actually doing it, and they're doing it very, very well in the music industry.
Okay.
They're market leaders, they're pioneers, they're doing a very, very good job. So whatever I'm talking to you about, I've spoken to Benon, I've spoken to Julius about these particular things, how they should be actually running.
Maybe you working with songs, how do you think we can really sensitize people?
We're already doing it.
By doing such
We
podcasts.
see we're doing this.
It's the boring stuff
I know.
that has to happen.
I know.
We're doing this, but also Swang's Academy is doing it, and we give a legal class to Swang's Academy.
Oh, that's really powerful.
So they
You should sit into those.
I need to attend one. But we need to have maybe we need to open the doors to maybe say like musicians, managers,
actually,
like to attend some of those classes.
Yes. And the reason why that is important is that most people think when you share that knowledge, but what you realize, what people don't realize, is that the more people understand the nitty-gritties of the industry, the more money everyone is making. So if someone understands that I need to actually argue my point better, it is going to argue. Even Swangs, when they come to Swangs, they're going to discuss that discussion. It will be different. And the reason why it's going to be different is that everyone now knows their rights. And if you know your rights, you actually argue better. The reason why those music industries are developed in Nigeria or the US or the UK is because everyone knows their rights.
Yeah, but let me tell you, yesterday I learned something, Benon. I was watching a podcast, and there's a guy that I listened to. He said that, you see, money is not made. You don't make money. You take money. And so I was like, then he explained and said, you see, only banks make money because they can print it. But the only thing you do is to convince someone else to give you their their money. That's like you're not making it. You're just you're just convincing someone else to give it to you. So when you're selling something, whether it's art or whatever, you have to put it in a position where whoever it is convinced that I need to spend. Like even when you go, let's say you have a favorite restaurant, you need to ask yourself, what are these people doing to convince me to pay them 15,000 Uganda shillings for a cup of tea, which I can make at home? Like what are they doing to convince me to give them
intellectual property?
You know what I mean? Yeah. You need to ask yourself that.
Yeah, Ian, you've talked about something that led me to the question that I actually brought up, and to me personally, I believe it's the reason why even if government, I know that there's the copyright law, but one of the main reasons why I think it's not functional is because we do not know how this whole thing works. And for me, I'm really, really happy that we are in position to be able to use whatever small platforms that we have to sensitize our people about. It's a bit complex, but for the copyright to work, we all stakeholders need to be able to understand it properly, what it is, what it involves. Like, I'll give you an example. Last week, there's a songwriter who sent us a demo, who were very interested in it. But he was like, but you need to give me, I think 50% of whatever you make, online and, stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, that's cool, but are you involved with any publisher?
Registered? Yeah.
Da, da, da. and all that was
Zero.
French to his ears.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
He has
we
the
can,
idea,
yeah.
but
And
Yeah, because
I was
they,
like,
they,
we
they
need to
want
help you.
they want to make money, and
Yeah.
you can make money from
Yeah.
this, and they
Yeah.
think you're making a lot of money from it.
Yeah.
How do I get into that money? But what you need to realize is that every person who walks into your offices with a demo and things like that, they need to know that, or they need to understand that first you have to protect yourself from them, not them from you. Because when someone walks in and says, "Ben agena kunziba, it's going to give me little money. This is not going to work for me." But the first thing that a record label is going to protect itself is from you. Why? Have you copied the song? Have you copied the lyrics?
Yeah.
Did you get permission from them? So you may come and be quick to get money, yet the first thing we need to make sure that you have not actually stolen these things. And that drives me now into the issue of infringement of intellectual property.
okay.
It is okay for you to make reference or to refer or to derive your work from someone's intellectual property. For example, if you're doing a cartoon out of your image, it is okay, that's a derivative work. So you do a cartoon of Steve Keys. It's a
Do
derivative
you need
work.
permission? Or
Yes, you need permission.
Okay.
So you said, Steve Keys, we're going to do a cartoon that you're going to be the main character and we're going to have you as a cartoon. And said, no problem, you can draw me as a cartoon character. You give the consent to that. The person who does a song or writes a song needs to make sure that the lyrics of that song are not copied. That the person who gives you a demo with a beat to it, that beat is not copied. Because any small copying of any sort of beat can actually lead to intellectual property infringement or copyright infringement. I'll give you an example. The most common one, I think, is a public knowledge. Pharrell Bloodlines. They did not copy the entire song. They copied a little bit of Marvin Gaye's song, just a little bit. And if you listen to the song, you may not even get, if you're not an attentive person, you may not even get what they copied. Because it was so small that an average ear could not hear it. But they copied. And the court penalized them in costs, millions of dollars they had to pay the Marvin Gaye family.
Even Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran got off.
He won
Yes, he won
that
the one
song
in,
of
Shape of You.
Baby,
Yes.
It's also a Marvin Gaye progression.
Yes. So he won that case, but there was another one that then that stood there brought for him.
Yeah.
But that's beside the story. The story is, do not copy unless you have permission. Whenever you want to use some person's line, you have a line that Chameleon has sung and you really like it. Like, Chameleon, can I put this thing in my song? And you agree. Remember, agreement is you transfer that intellectual property to, right? And once you transfer it to this person, then you can now start moving. You've seen people doing remixes where they bring people and they say, I want you to be on my song. Can you partner with me? Can you remix the song with me? Or can you have a collabo? And people are paid. But when they're paid, they need to understand that you need to pay and have that right in perpetuity to use that song for performance and for making money. If you're more advanced artists, of course, you argue for royalties to be paid. And you say, okay, I've come in to do this collab with you, but if it hits this amount of money, you need to give me more money. If you give me a sign-on fee of $200,000, but if we go over and above these sales, if you hit platinum, if you get to the top 10, whatever it is, you'll give me some money. You give me a 5%, 2%, 3%. You argue and you say, for the life of the song, someone is earning. Otherwise, someone will earn from your money, from your sweat. You do a collab with Benon. Benon is a big artist. And then a man who goes on and becomes a billionaire, and Benon is here still pushing wheelbarrows. Yet he's the one who actually.
I guess the on the copying thing, I don't know. So, because my question has always been, how far do the conditions go when it comes to copying? Because if someone says you broke my heart in a song, and I come and say you broke my heart in my song. You can't say I copied you. That's just what I wanted to say.
It's a style,
but also maybe that will include they say the melody or the key of the song.
It's a style.
How you say it.
Let me give you an example. You can say you broke my heart, right? And Celine Dion will say and break my heart, right? If you hear and break my heart, you just know that's Celine Dion. Now, if Benon comes and song and puts the same melody, the same way it's said, then you know you copied, and that's a famous person. Someone may not be that famous, and it's a simple song that he sang and put out there. He's making money from it, and then you get that. So you need to, and that's why they're called a creative. Creative means you're creating all the time. you're thinking of new things.
Not copying.
Yes, you're not copying, you're creating. But creative also means that I can look at Benon's work and say, wow, that's excellent.
I like something like
yes.
that.
Can I get a little bit of that and put a little bit of what I've created to create magic? That's also allowed, right? As long as Benon knows that I've copied your thing and I'm putting it on my track so that I know we can get big, and he gives that permission. Without that permission, you are infringing on someone's intellectual property.
So how would, say for example, you gave an example, a songwriter comes to Swangs and we buy a song, and you said Swangs needs to protect themselves
From the songwriter.
From the songwriter.
Yes.
So imagine the songwriter copied the song,
Yes.
but we have no idea of knowing.
Yes.
So how would Swangs go about that?
Agreement. You see, agreements are very, very interesting creatures. I'll give you an example. I'm a tax person, so I'll give you a tax case. Forgive me, grandmothers, I'm going a little bit. You remember that Tallow Oil Heritage Oil tax issue in London at $420 million, you know? In tax, usually the person who buys, right, pays the tax. No, the person who buys, yes, pays the tax for transfer, but the person who they bought from pays the capital gain. Let me make it simple. A car depreciates, but let me use a car. If I bought a car today at 10 million, then I sold it to Benon at 15 million, I've made a gain of 5 million. I should pay the capital gain, okay, because I'm the seller. However, we can agree with Benon that you're buying my car at 15 million, but whatever capital gain that comes out of it, you pay. Do you understand?
You can agree.
You can agree.
Okay.
Now, something will happen with someone who walks in. You say, we've bought your song. You give representations. One, you're the original author. You have not copied from a third party. Everything that comes, basically, those are representations I've given you. Then I tell you, you will indemnify me for all costs.
I beg your pardon, what's indemnify in English?
Indemnity in English means if someone comes to claim that there is a copyright infringement, you'll be the one to blame. So I will say, I've bought a song from Benon and tell him, if anyone comes and says, by the way,
that's my
there
song.
is something not right here.
You can sign that off?
Yes. I will say it's okay. I will actually tell the person, that's very fine. Then I'll tell him, good. Jango I am not the one supposed to explain this. And I'll tell you, even the court will enforce and say, since you have an indemnity agreement, even if they say a judgment against me for copyright infringement, you will pay.
Yeah.
But then you find some situations whereby the artist is the big fish and the songwriter probably...
It doesn't matter. You know, that's your person's problem, not yours.
Because usually the person suing would want to go for the big fish.
Of course, they'll always go for the big fish. And the big fish have learned that they're coming for us. So
that protects them.
Now, whatever happens, whether you can get the money from that person or you can't, that's your problem, not mine.
Because for me, I bought knowing
he represented that he wrote the original song, he wrote the original beat, he didn't copy it from anywhere. These are the representations that he made. When he made those representations, I also said that if I find that you've lied about your representations, then you will indemnify me for whatever that I'm going to suffer. And you make it as wide as possible. Whatever you're going to suffer, whether it is just costs, all those things.
I need to be throwing that coward.
Indemnity. Just say indemnify me.
You need to indemnify.
Yeah, but then I was leading on to certain other aspects. When artists come together and they get to realize their potential of milking or making money from their intellectual property, then they form what they call a performing rights society. A performing rights society is essentially a group of, or a team that monitors members, you have to be a member, members' intellectual property anywhere it is. Wherever part it is, it depends on, because you have different performing rights societies. There's Performing Rights Society UK, there's UPRS in Uganda, there's different performing rights societies. And they have working relationships. So all you have to do is say, who's the performing rights society? This is the one. This guy has sung a song of our artist, and the artist is complaining they have not received royalties from it. could you please go and help us enforce? Then the Performing Rights Society of the UK, or whatever it is, comes and says, by the way, you guys sang ABCD, could you please give our counterparts the money or the proceeds that they agreed to? Okay? Performing Rights Society collects the royalties, takes, of course, a management fee, and then pays the artist. So in essence, the way the Performing Rights Society is supposed to work is that it collects your royalties wherever they are. They help you track your royalties wherever they are, and then those royalties are paid to the artist in proportion that you've agreed to the Performing Rights Society.
This reminds me of that UB40 incident.
I want to get there.
Yeah, because I think for those who are watching the show, I think the bottom line to these all creatives out there is that you can actually make more money than you're making right now if you really understand all these avenues through which you can make money. If you're a singer, not just performances, not just selling the music, but you can make money off of all your creations.
Yes.
Is that correct English?
Yeah.
All your creations and all your
intellectual property.
All your intellectual properties, much more money than you're making right now.
So it's up to us to do that.
To jump on the...
The trick is to know, and I think where people think they're shortchanged is, I'm a Performing Rights Society, I tell you I'll collect, but 5% is my management charge. So no. If the right society is doing the right thing, you end up making much more money than... well, let me give an example. Imagine you're getting 100% of 10, right? And then you're getting 95% of a million. Which one is better?
Yeah, of course.
So it's a simple math game. So people want to get 100% of 10. Say, na million zange, kumi, na hizo na zange. But the person is telling you,
that is
give
so true.
me 5%. And this 95 that remains, I will make sure you get a million. And people say, no, I want my 10. I'll get 10 million here, 10 million here, 10. Yet the guy can argue and say, I can get you $1 million shillings every single day.
I mean, I guess you can argue from both ways because, I mean, that society, whatever it is, they better be transparent. People.
Yeah, there's transparency. And that's when the UB40 case came in. When I just finished law school about 11 years ago, I had the opportunity of working.
Oh, so you've been practicing for only 10 years?
Over 10 only.
Oh, no. That's the thing. Wait, actually, I watched a video yesterday of some... Sorry, but this guy was 6'4".
Yes.
So this guy asked him, how do you introduce yourself? He said, how tall are you? He says, I'm 6'4", blah, blah, blah. But you're a pilot, blah, blah, blah. So how many miles have you flown? He said, 1,000 miles, 3,000. And the guy told him, that's how you should introduce yourself. Don't say 3,500. Say for over. Say I've flown over.
Yes, over this. Yes.
5,000 miles, and I'm a pilot. Blah blah.
So you should say, I've been practicing
for over 10 years.
Over.
I can comfortably say that because I finished law school 2010, so 2012 was over 10 years.
Over.
Yeah. So I had the privilege of working with the Shonobi Music Company, and they're retained by MTN. Then I can talk about this because public knowledge. And then there was a UB40 case. UB40 had come to perform in Uganda. Then the Performing Rights Society of UK sued MTN through a Performing Rights Society of Uganda, MTN and UB40, to recover royalties on behalf of UB40. Strange.
Who had come to perform?
Yes. Strange.
So what's the money for? Like, what are they suing?
They're saying
for?
you should have contacted us because we manage these guys to pay to us, to collect on their behalf. But they're actually paid UB40. So it's that, I don't tell you how that ended, but it's that vigorous that they will come and enforce. They will hear, we've sung here, and then they'll come. And the internet now is open. You think that someone has recorded and posted on online, and there are people who are paid to just check to see on-air performance. I'll give you examples, and people do this a lot. You go to bands, and they're performing Azawi's music. So you ask yourself, how does Azawi benefit from these people perform? They perform their entire album, by the way. And you say, how does she benefit from these people performing her songs? The right way of doing it is the hotel or the venue going to perform that music goes to Performing Rights Society if Azawi is registered to it and said, we want to play 1, 2, 3 Azawi songs. Say, okay, the rate for those songs is 1, 2, 3. Okay, you're going to have allowed you to play them, Now, when you play them, please pay us this amount of money. So that Zawi is paid. But now, imagine how much money a musician in Uganda loses from just bands. And we've just talked about just bands.
And it's because we don't know this information. You find that even the musician will be so happy and proud that, band XYZ
is playing my music.
Is playing my music.
Yes.
And they will even repost.
Remember
what Ivan told us last time, that, say, for example, Winnie Nwaji has a concert.
That's what I was going to say.
At Lugogo Cricket Oval.
Yeah.
She needs to communicate with the collecting society that, I'm going to perform.
Lugogo has to pay her.
Yes.
To pay the collecting society.
Yes, has to pay for her songs to be performed at that venue.
Yes.
Oh.
So that's how it works. That's how a narrative should work. But you said you're right that it now starts going to transparency. How transparent are the performing rights society so that they can attract the people to come together. And if people now understand their rights or their intellectual property rights, then they'll unite in a performing society so that they can be able to enforce those rights. And they'll make more money. Now, how the lawyers make money, you ask yourself how we make money is that when you come to register performing society, they'll have a lawyer arguing your side. We're negotiators as well.
Yeah.
So you come to a performing society and say, Guy Ian, they're going to 80%. Okay? Making sure it's 80%. Then for me, my role is to make sure you get your 80%. They can take their 20, they can do whatever. And my role is to make sure that your agreement is so airtight that if they mismanage your money, you can sue it and bring it back. Okay? So the lawyers come into play. Of course, a performing society should also know have lawyers. So there's a lot of meat for everyone. I always argue with my friends that there's so many antelopes to eat. That if you start chasing one antelope, 3 lions, there's a problem. If you don't get the antelope, you can also get the rat. You will not go hungry. So get 10 rats and you eat. The other person will get the antelope. So there's so many things to do. And if we all get together and say, we're going to make this industry run this way. Nigerians have done it in the legal society. There are law firms in Nigeria are making so much money because they've understood how they can work together. And people cannot go and just fleece them off. So same exact thing with music industry or the entertainment industry. Let's get to learn our rights. Let's get to know what is it for us. But
we have to change that mindset of quick money. Because sometimes
it's a need. You know, when you're hungry, you can't argue with a hungry person. Anything you give him will take it. Yes. As long as I get my children food, it's a dire situation. But once people get to understand, you start moving slowly. It's not that after you listen to this podcast, you say, now, Benon, if you give me any money, I won't just, I will not agree. Start small and say, Benon, I know what my thing is worth, but I need the money now. Can we agree to this? And let me let's keep getting better. The better you get, the more negotiation you have. You negotiate better with leverage. If you don't have leverage, I will negotiate you out.
Do you work 7 days a week?
Me?
Yeah.
I used to. I'm a workaholic. I love to work.
He now has money.
I used to work 7 days a week, but now I'm starting to slow down a bit. But I can work any day, really.
I see a ring on your finger.
Yes.
You're married?
Very.
Does that affect does your work affect your relationship?
Her occupational hazard, she knows what she married.
What she got into.
Yes, I love what I do. I will do it any day. If Benon calls at 3 a.m., I'll wake up and say, you know what, now I have to go.
That's very similar from the last guest we had. He said the same thing, that he married someone who understands what he does.
And sort out whatever I have to sort out. I can work at 3 a.m.
And to understand that she has to understand you're doing it for them as well.
Yes. I have a home office, so I can wake up at 2 a.m. and get into my office and work up to 5.
What do you do for leisure when you chill?
I'm a very big fan of music, so I listen to hip hop a lot. I am a very big fan of traveling.
Okay.
So I travel. In fact, I dress like this today because I'm traveling with the missus. I'm going for a meeting, but said they tag along. So it's when my leisure is travel, relax.
Because I know lawyers can read.
My
God.
Yeah. You have to find your poison.
Yeah.
And so I travel. I watch movies. I listen to podcasts. I read a book a month. just one, because I don't read it consistently.
Every time I see someone who is as passionate as you, I'm very inspired about what they do.
Very.
Yeah. For me, this is it.
I know our producer is like, time is up. It's funny how time flies when you, especially the stuff that we're talking about. I'm sure we've just dissected.
Before we close, we just dissect. I also want to hit on something very, very, very small.
Break it.
Producer, just give me 5 minutes. TikTok. I will talk about the future of the music industry. And it's different now because people can go into their bedrooms. Everything is online. You can go and download whatever you want to download and create music in your bedroom, right? So why do I need a producer? I just go and say everything is done. Instead of giving you $1,000,000, can I give you 250 so that you can just master this thing for me because I've done everything, right? And that's what we're heading to. But most people are thinking, for example, like TikTok. There are songs that are played. So you see someone choreographing on a song and you ask yourself, have they gotten permission to do that? Because this is someone's song, right? But also the dance is nice. So you ask yourself, does the musician also want to get that dance on too? So if you notice, TikTok has particular songs. You can't put any song on TikTok. They have a list of songs. So they have rights. They've already gotten rights to use those songs on TikTok. And if you don't have a right to use it, you probably won't be able to use it on TikTok because that would be infringing on someone's copyright. But the artists have given TikTok rights to use their music.
Just to make
licenses,
it more popular.
to make it more, to boost their popularity and things like that. But very soon we're going to see TikTok stars now creating copyrights out of what they're doing because it's a creative. Someone comes and creates something and you know, it makes Kabilem, for example, that he's not talking and he's just... That is a copyright. That can be copyrighted because that is his act. Mr. Bean did it for the longest time. He never talked in any of these things. And he made money from it. So once you get to realize that copyright or intellectual property can be anything, anything that you create. It could be a design, cloth, hat, the way you shave. There are people who cut hair and they have a copyright in the way they cut their hair. Okay, some people use fire. You've seen people who cut hair with fire. Some people use swords. And I mean, there's a way of design and art. And if you don't learn how to protect your art, maybe I'll say this last. For copyright to be binding, you need not get a certificate.
Say that again?
For copyright to be binding, you don't have to get a certificate.
What does that mean?
As long as your idea has been reduced in writing, for example, a book. If I write a book, a novel, that novel alone is a copyright. If I do a music production, that music production alone is a copyright. But if you want to get more protection, if you want to have your chapa mungaro, you go and get a certificate. Unlike trademarks, you must have a certificate. You must get a patent certificate for it to be a patent. For copyright,
in other words, get it out of your head.
Get out of your head. Put it
somewhere.
in tangible form. Either in
paper,
a computer
even
program,
email.
Yes, computer program. Put an email. Put in a book. That concept is now copyright.
There's a question. How long does a copyright last? Because I know that, for example, let's say after 60 years, I'm okay to use Michael Jackson's songs.
If copyrights, I think, have a timeline of about 50 years for copyrights, but they can be extended after that.
And then patents also. I think it's 10?
Patents 10 years gone. Most patents are life-saving. So they say, okay, you've saved a life. You can't milk it for life. Get your money in the first 10, 15 years and then let people use it. Because ultimately what you're inventing is new, and it's good, but they also allow you to milk what you've made so that you can make money in that period as the owner of that patent. And then
trademarks, do they have a limit?
Trademarks are 7 years renewable in Uganda. Yes, you do first 7 years, then you can renew for another 7 years. But those ones can be renewed. You keep renewing as and when. Because the reason why they do that is that most people, the trademark can change.
An artist's name is a trademark, or
it can be. It can be a trademark.
So no one else can call themselves Azawi. Is that a trademark or copyright?
That's a trademark.
Okay.
The mark is a name.
Okay.
Trademark identifies goods or services.
Okay.
So exactly. Azawi can be a brand. And that brand is associated with music, can be now get into hair products, can be, that's a trademark.
Okay.
So it
every 7 years you have to.
So you have to keep renewing, and the reason why that is that you've seen the Coke Coke logo changing, standing has changed. They keep changing them because what was there 2 years ago, 5 years ago is now you get new ideas. You change swangs, the colors can change. So you keep changing that mark.
Okay.
But it identifies the goods that all services
Oh.
provide.
My head
Mugumbya.
is frying. I need to go for lunch. But thank you so much.
Yeah,
one last thing before we go.
Yes. Yeah.
Imagine with all the information you have right now, and you want to become this next big superstar in our country, Uganda. What are the steps that you would take to protect yourself, to properly run your thing?
Maximize.
The step is very simple. The number is +256.
That's a good one.
Yeah, just call Signum Advocates. We have a good team.
You're going to pay for that, Kalam.
Now that I'm here, we have a very good team. My partners and the team that we have, it's very well. It's professional. They know what they're doing. So just go to the website, get anyone on the numbers. As soon as you hit and you want intellectual property advisory or whatever, we'll direct you to the right team to do that, and then you get 100% advice.
In other words, you're saying lawyer up.
That's it.
Even when you're just starting up.
Yes. And people think lawyers are expensive, but I think chasing after your copyright infringement is more expensive.
Yeah.
So get a lawyer, negotiate the rate, sit down with them, and you'll make money together.
Yeah, and something and this I'm saying out of working with you guys, the experience we've had, I think it's the relationship that you build.
Yes.
I remember when we were starting up. Of course, it's scary. Oh, now we have. You guys are more like part of our business.
Yeah.
And because we have the experience, that relationship, anything that arises, the money discussion is always later.
Yeah.
These guys will be so quick to jump on the problem. Okay, let's do ABCD.
Solve it.
Or, we have a new artist that we're taking on. It's just as simple as an email. We have this going on. Please look through. Any contracts that come in from other people, straight to these guys, so I think what he said is true. Just reach out to that person, create rapport and relationship, and you'll both grow together. I can't imagine Swangs without these guys.
So do we have? I have seen in America. I think they use a different system. They have what they call a jury. Who are normal people, but they act as the judge. And the only thing the judge does is sentencing.
Yes.
Do we do that here?
No.
In Uganda, the judge?
The judge is Kamarabyonna. But for criminal matters, they're what they call assessors. Assessors like the jury. They're usually two.
But normal people?
Yeah, normal people.
Okay.
Yes. So the assessors who can give a direction. They're not binding on the judge, but they can give a direction and say, "Oh, we've seen this thing. This man is guilty." But the judge can come and say, "Okay, I've heard you, but I think he's innocent because of ABCD." So we don't have a jury system in Uganda. Okay, cool. You wanted to be invited.
Which one would you prefer? Do you think the jury system is
more
better?
I think the jury system, each one has its pros and cons. For every solution you have, there's a problem created.
Yes.
Now, the jury system is bad because you may have a jury that does not understand legal principles at all. You convict an innocent man. You can also have a single judge who is corrupted and convict an innocent man. So they all have the issues. The jury is good because they have to have a unanimous vote. So you sit down and agree that this is what we're going to do. So all of you have to agree. One of you may dissent and say, I don't agree with you, but it has to be almost unanimous. So it somehow also solves. That's why they say you have to have a jury of your peers. So if you're a black man, ordinarily your jury should be majority black
predominantly
people.
black.
Yes, but you can also say this person is black, like Steve Keys. But yes, I'm a Muzungu. So we can have
white person.
more people than,
Ian, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, guys. Please, thank you for watching the show. Always subscribe, follow, leave a comment. What's the other one? I've forgotten.
Like.
And share.
A share. Forward. Terms of video.
Terms of video. Paka wetu
kubayimbi
wona. Yeah, abayimbi wona bino bibakataka.
Bibakatako.
I'm going to be in trouble with the katikiro. Yeah, man.
Hey.